How long were you two together before you were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis?
How long we were married? Not even a year. I woke up to him with a toothbrush in the bathroom, rubbing his stomach, and I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I can't feel anything." And that's how it all started. He said my feet tingling and my hands were tingling.
And I can't brush my teeth.
Yeah, you couldn't brush your teeth?
I had my hand in my...
God!
What's the biggest thing that Nancy does to support you?
What's up with me?
How long have you two been married?
We were trying to figure this out earlier. 47 years, which is a long time. And we've been through a lot, and we're still together and still standing. I'm still standing, excuse me.
I remember our first date. It was really weird. I had the night before I went out with her, I went out with another girl.
He had used all his money the night before on another girl, and so he had no money, and we ended up going to McDonald's, and I think we split a drink, but we sat there for like 3-4 hours and just talked to one another, and the next thing you know, here we are 47 years later.
I don't know what we talked about.
Everything. 47 years later.
Has he stopped talking yet?
No.
What?
But I have to say, it's a little harder to talk to him now because his comprehension of things is a little different. So that I find a little hard. Sometimes I miss, the banter back and forth as strong as it used to be, but.
Does MS impact the way you communicate?
Well, only I have a hard time talking. I can't really form words where I want to, because I can't really verbalize things where I want them to be, and it makes it difficult.
47 years of marriage.
Yeah.
40s.
Go ahead, say what you usually say, Greg.
Bliss.
Yeah, but you usually say, yeah, we've been married 3 happy years. 3 out of 47's not bad. That's usually what you say. Isn't it?
I would never say that.
Oh, yes, you would.
Does he like to push your buttons?
Oh, yes. Oh, God. Not as much. He used to push him a lot more, but not as much. I think he knows, because I have to remind him. I said, this is hard work, Greg.
Whatever things are down, she picks me up and gets me through it. She makes it easy for me to be funny. She laughs at all my jokes. And even if they aren't funny.
Did you just admit some of your jokes aren't funny?
Definitely. Not only they're not funny, but they're just bad.
Do you remember what it was like when he was first diagnosed?
It was very difficult because he was paralyzed on one side of his body, and they did all kinds of tests. But back then, they didn't have MRIs. I think they were just coming out with them.
Yeah.
So they diagnosed him through spinal tap and some other things. But, it took him a while to get back on his feet. And, of course, we were newly married, so you think about, what's going to become of your life. How bad is he going to get? I didn't want to see it get worse. And then when the doctor finally said he had chronic progressive MS, I knew that it was going to get worse. But you just take, the road less traveled.
What do you love most about Nancy?
What do I love most about Nancy? That she's sensitive. And she cares. She's caring, and she's beautiful, and she's smart, and she gets me through all kinds of bad things.
When he first got diagnosed with MS, they kind of were, they diagnosed him with lupus, they diagnosed him with this, and then they finally diagnosed him with MS. He was paralyzed on one side of his body, and then gradually that came back. And then he kind of went off the the wall, and he started reading about down south there was some type of cure for MS, so he was going to go down there, but then thought, well, if that were true, then all the doctors around here would know about that. So then he started reading about herbal remedies. So he would go and make birch bark tea and go and pick plankton, and because there were supposed to be, but I think that was just his way of trying to cope and deal with it.
How would you describe multiple sclerosis to somebody who doesn't know what it is?
Basically, it's like I try to make my legs and hands do things, and it just don't work.
Does MS impact people cognitively?
Yes.
How so?
I think it affects their memory. I think it affects their ability to concentrate.
Is that fair to say that you struggle with your memory?
What?
Is that fair to say? Do you have a hard time remembering things?
What?
Don't tease teasing.
I would have kept going too. I would have kept rephrasing the same question. You should have let him do it.
I think laughter is the most important thing in the world. Can't take everything seriously. It's not serious.
He never wanted anybody to think he couldn't do it. And I think that got in his way sometimes. It's just like now we'll be out someplace and I'll get so exasperated because he'll be right with me, behind me, and we'll be going in someplace and a person will come in, they'll practically walk right over him to get in the door in front of him. And I'll say, are you that impatient that you can't just let him go through? And then he gets all mad at me and he says, it's not worth it saying anything, don't say anything. But sometimes I feel, do people just not realize, or do they just not care? I don't know. Sometimes I think you need to remind them. That's a human being. That's somebody that is just like you.
Life is just what it is. I can't change it, and I deal with what I've been dealt with, and I just go with the flow, as they say.
Do you take your diagnosis seriously?
Well, yeah, I take it seriously, but like I said, I won't let it get me down, because that's the way it is. I can't change it. It's the way it is. I have great doctors to take care of me, and great nurses to take care of me.
Sometimes it's hard. I'm not going to say it's not hard. Because sometimes I'll just say I can't do this by myself, and then, then he gets better and things turn around. But sometimes I'm not going to say it's not hard.
So this is a condition that can get worse and then get better. It's all over the place?
Well, if Greg gets an infection and gets sick, he just deteriorates, and he has to go to rehab and be built back up again. When he does get ill, you never know if he's going to get back to the baseline that he was before. So you don't know what to expect.
Do you have a favorite memory with Nancy?
Every day I'm with her is my favorite memory. Every day.
What was it like after you were diagnosed? Did you have a job?
Yeah,
Yeah, you had a job. I'm answering for you.
what?
You were teaching.
I was teaching. I got right through it.
How many years did you teach for?
25 years,
25.
right?
Yeah,
25, yeah.
yeah. And it was hard for him at the end, because he had to travel to 3 different schools, and it was he couldn't walk, and it got to be too difficult. So he retired early. I mean, one day I got a phone call at work. He had gone out and gotten in his truck, and he hit the gas instead of hitting the brake, and his truck got lodged on a pole about this high, and it was stuck up on there. And that was kind of when we decided, I think it's about time, maybe don't be driving. Fortunately, nobody got hurt.
Did you love teaching?
Did I love teaching? I loved it.
What did you love about it?
I loved the kids. I loved climbing around all the time. And I loved music.
When he was still working, he used to have to crawl into work to get to a scooter. I mean,
There was no ramp for him?
No. It's very, it's sad that somebody has to experience that.
I don't take things too seriously. I try not to regret. Because taking things seriously that would be depressing. I don't do depressing.
And I want to say we were lucky that we had very supportive people in our life, my parents and family, and people that have come into the house to help me with Greg. And presently we have the best in the world, it's Rachel. Rachel, you want to answer some questions?
How would you describe your bond with Rachel, Greg?
We want to adopt her. She planted my whole garden for me. She did the whole thing.
He's the mastermind. I'm the physical labor.
Rachel helps me with getting him up in the morning, giving him a shower, helping me get him dressed. She goes out in the garden and spends hours with him. We'll just stay and talk with him out there, very interested in what he has to say and what he's doing. And she'll help me get him into bed if necessary, and she'll cook for him. And so that allows me sometimes to be able to do some social things with my friends.
When somebody finishes this video and goes on about their day, what do you hope they remember from it?
I hope they remember that no matter how hard things can be, you can still find joy and be happy and just care about one another and go from there.
Everything was easier with Nancy at my side. Everything was easier. Man, I went through so many illnesses. And if she hadn't been there, I don't know how I would have done it. I never felt alone. She never made me feel alone.